out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You're tuning Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me. In effect, I'm hyped. I haven't seen this shorty in about a month. P, what's good, baby?
All is well, Kill. It's really good to be back. It's been a busy time, but it's so good to be back.
No doubt. I got my brother out of Brooklyn, Vegas. What's going on, fam?
A lot of people think that, but I'm from the borough. I ain't from out here.
No doubt. I got my man Tone from Men in the Dome. What's good, bro?
What's good, everybody?
Everything good, bro. Everything good. And I got my man Doug for the first time chopping it up with us on Apartment 5B. I want to shout this man out. For people who may not know, we have a partnership with the National Museum of Hip Hop here in DC. Once a month, once every other month, depending on I've been traveling a lot, so we're going to start locking it on every month. But the past two times he's driven up from Virginia to chop it up with us. So definitely had to invite him on and show him some love. Doug, what's good with you, bro?
It's an honor to be part of this podcast. Anytime anything gets associated with the Hip Hop Museum, I do try to travel with it and try and support anything they do. I want to see that become a success. And I've seen it from their original pop-up location to where they are now, the Hall of Fame inductions that they're doing. The museum has enriched my life, knowing the founder, Jeremy Beaver, of course, Master G from the Sugar Hill Gang, historian Jay Quan from rockthebells.com, Andrew Katz, Neil Taylor, Davino, and everyone associated with that. It's just a great project, and I'm so happy that Apartment 5B decided to travel down to DC and do this live. It really enhances the culture, and it certainly enhances the conversation in a more educated way.
No doubt, bro. And we just appreciate the support. For people who haven't seen it, I am going to post the episode, but we did this before. Porsche remembers this. It was a nightmare for her because I think Pac didn't get out the second round. Pac did he got to the third round this time. He got to the Sweet 16
I have
this
the
time,
most severe PTSD from like that. When I look at that, I get like queasy from like just that experience. It was, I can't.
It was rough.
Anyways,
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. But y'all know me, let's jump right into it. This week, we are talking about, we're talking about a lot of things, but one of the first things we're talking about is dispelling the myth of the one-hit wonder. Because I've seen a lot of people say there are a lot of people with one-hit wonders, and I'm like, nah, bro, them dudes had like 8 albums out. What are you talking about? They was a one-hit wonder. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of it just goes to people who are casual listeners versus people who are heads, because the heads will know, this person had this many albums out, maybe the casual listener doesn't. So we're going to be talking about that. But more importantly, I want to talk about what your own personal definition of a one-hit wonder was. So for example, for me, growing up, I felt like a one-hit wonder was somebody who didn't have any talent and just kind of stumbled upon a hit. So I think of Milli Vanilli. I think of Color Me Bad with the I Wanna Sex You Up. You know, like none of these dudes were really talented, but somehow, some way they found themselves, all over the news. Now, I think as I've gotten older, I look at it kind of different. Like, you could have been a one-hit wonder, and that could have been the label's fault. That could have been just the way hip hop was going at that time, and maybe the hip hop was too boom bap and you got caught up in the shiny suit year. Like, you know what I mean? So I kind of look at it differently now. So I do want to talk about those things like that. Doug, your first time on with us. What's your definition of a one-hit wonder? Has it changed? Is it still the same? What's your 2 cents?
Okay. When you first introduced this topic that Saturday when we were doing the March Madness round of 64, and by the way, I do want to put an addendum to that round of 64. When it comes down to a tiebreaker between two MCs and you don't know which way to go, The tiebreaker, I was chopping up with my boy Eddie after the show, driving home to Richmond, Virginia. The tiebreaker is the cipher. If you took those two MCs and put them in a cipher, what MC walks away? That's who advances in the round of 64. If everything is even and balanced, put them in a cipher. That's who moves on. That's what I thought the tiebreaker should have been. When it comes to the definition of a hit, it's interesting. I'm going to give an example because you said he might have 8 albums. Doesn't mean they're 8 good albums. That doesn't mean they're necessarily hits. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. I absolutely adore the first I'll Be Sure album. Hit after hit after hit. And those were hits. Yeah. Those were charts. Those were videos. Those are still in the social consciousness. And as soon as they get played at the cookout, everybody goes, "Oh!" Those were hits. I'll Be Sure's second album. Yeah. But yet, a song, my favorite I'll Be Sure song, comes from the second album, and that's Misunderstanding. I love Misunderstanding, and that song is so underrated. And they tried 20 different remixes of that to get it to chart, and it just didn't go over the top. But I love Misunderstanding. Is it a hit? No. I wouldn't say it's a hit. Just because you put out an album doesn't mean it was a hit. Just like if you had sex on camera and put it on the internet, doesn't mean you're a porn star. Porn star has a totally different connotation, and hit is different from just putting music out. So for me, there's 3 types of hits. Number 1, does it reach middle-aged women in middle America? It's conscious. MC Hammer, You Can't Touch This. That's a hit. Everybody knows that. Gangnam Style, that would be a hit. Whoop, There It Is, that would be a hit. People, it has gone beyond charts. It's gone beyond that. The second way it can be a hit is if it does chart. And when we're talking about it was nice for you to say manipulation and things like that. There weren't hip hop charts back in the day. There was an R&B chart and maybe a dance chart. So the chance for these things to chart and become a hit, they didn't have that opportunity back then. So the third way is, does it seep into our social consciousness as hip hop fans, and we respect what that song did to the community and what it still means. There are songs we're going to talk about tonight that didn't scratch the top 40, but we know that's a hit. And hip hop would not be the same without that song coming into the game, influencing things that came afterwards. We needed that as a building block to build hip hop. That's my definition.
No doubt. Well, what's good, baby? You good?
What's good? I'm good.
Hey, just your daily reminder that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, so everything is good. So, what's good with you, bro? What's your definition of a hit? A one-hit wonder. What was, when you think of one-hit wonder? How do you explain that?
You know what's funny, because you and I are basically the same age, man. And growing up, my definition was kind of like yours. Like, this person ain't got to be talented or anything. They just stumbled on a nice hook. The beat was catchy. It popped off for the radio, for the club. Like, it's hit. It's a hit. You know what I'm saying? It's not as deep as Doug's definition, of course, and we'll get into some of that. You know what I'm saying? But my initial one is kind of like, it's just a real popular song by someone who might not be that talented. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure we're gonna probably name a few people in our eyes that weren't traditionally talented, but they stumbled on something that was catchy. You know what I'm saying? It still rings right now. And to Doug's point, Middle America might still know that song. You know what I'm saying? Might know that song before they even know the name of the person who did it. You know what I'm saying? So that would be mine. Now I might look at it like, so is it the one hit? Is it a one-hit song or is it a one-hit album? I mean, that might be another whole discussion. Like, did they just pop off? Like, to Doug's point, I'll Be Sure had an album that was a hit, but after that, he didn't have any more albums that were hits. Even though
that's actually a good point.
Even though he had multiple hits on that album, is he a one-hit wonder or one album hit wonder? You know what I'm saying? Right. To a degree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more broad now with it. Like, I kind of go back and forth between, is it the one song or was this person like, did they have an album that was a hit? So I'm a little more lenient now, you know what I'm saying, than I was growing up.
Right. No doubt. Vague, what about you, bro?
What's a one-hit wonder to me?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what y'all said, right? I think it's, you know, I looked at it more so as a song that's catchy beyond charting, beyond casual versus hip hop head. Like everybody knows it. Your grandmother knows it. Your mother knows it, or heard of it. You know, radio spins are probably crazy, but no one else is, besides maybe the loyal fans, know the rest of the music you release. So you can be talented and have a hit, but that doesn't mean those same amount of people have followed everything they've made other hits out of your other records and stuff like that. So I think it's really just, you know, a time thing where you're kind of known for that one thing, even though you may have other songs that are just as great, if not better. But it's all about the reach in general of the song. So of that one song, right. So that's what I think.
Yeah. All right, no doubt. Rel, what about you, bro?
A one-hit wonder, I guess it's just like kind of like what Tone was saying, like somebody that just kind of stumbled across a hit or wrote a fad that was popular at the time and got a hit record out of it, or you know what I'm saying. But and it could either be something that's like catchy or that was really popular for a time and kind of caught on to that time, but there was no follow up to it, no substance behind it, just something that just kind of just got popular for that time, but it was nothing to follow it up with.
All right, no doubt. And P, what about you?
A one-hit wonder to me is actually more in line with what Vegas said. So something, but even more specific, I guess, is like you had one hit, and I didn't really consider an album as being a one hit. Like an album to me goes beyond the one. To me, one hit means one song, and it's more like, is that your only claim to fame? And do people are like, you had that one and then no one's checking for you afterwards, and it doesn't really matter what you put out because nothing's really gonna, you know, materialize the way that one particular hit did. And that's what and of course the charting and that's where like the numbers people kind of get involved, where if this person is like, you know, charting all the time, I mean, with that song, are they extended weeks on charts, and is it making the rounds and radio airplay and things like that? And then, but the main component for me is, was anyone checking for anything else of yours after that one thing was released and it kind of ran its course? That to me is what a one-hit wonder is.
All right, no doubt. Now, sometimes I'm always telling people how I came up with these topics. So we're driving back from North Carolina, me and T, and I'm playing one of my mixtapes. It was like an Uptown Records, Salute to Andre Harrell mixtape. And a lot of songs to me was like, I don't know if y'all remember, Vague, I know you remember. Jeff Reg, You Called and Told Me. It was off the Strictly Biz soundtrack. You know what I mean? Banger. Like, I love that song, but I swear that's all Jeff Redd had. You know what I mean?
What? I Found Love?
I don't know about that, John.
I got the single in my closet of I
Oh man, so you out here stunting now, man. You got the single out there. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking Jeff Redd. Then now here's the thing for people watching. I was defining for me for this show, like you have two singles out. So because I'm about to name somebody and somebody's gonna say, and this is what I do want to have discussion because maybe y'all disagree. It's Soul for Real a one-hit wonder because they had Candy Rain and then they had that other single, but that was about it. And I never heard, oh God, I don't know that you are.
That's my point.
Every little thing you do.
Every little thing you do. Yeah. Every little thing you do. I'm like, I could give you the chorus, but I don't know. Maybe somebody would have heard the album, because here's the thing. There are going to be people who I have that aren't one-hit wonders because I heard the album, but I may have only heard the album because I was at 889 and I was getting shit for free. So I heard everything. You know what I mean? Me and Ed was talking about the other day, and there was a couple of people I'm gonna name, and he was like, "Nah, they was one hit wonders." I was like, "Nah, their album was dope as shit." He like, "Kill ain't nobody buy that album." Like, you know what I mean? It was like, "Oh yeah, I did get every album for free, so I was listening." So, what about So For Real? Are there, you know, outside those two songs, nobody ever was like, "Yo, you heard the album" or anything like that?
Yo,
Okay.
In the Rain still the go-to song. If you think of that group, that's the song. So they all one hit wonders to me.
Okay, okay.
I actually talked to JR about that album, like, because both of us heard the album. It was pretty good, but what do you think? I mean, you don't think about nothing else but Candy Rain when you think about Soul For Real. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably a one-hit wonder, to be honest with you.
And it was funny because all these people are on Uptown. Then I'm like, what about Monifa? I miss you, Joe. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Probably so.
And then I was like, Finesse and Sinquist. I fucked with Finesse and Sinquist, but it was, I mean, Soul Sisters and Soft But Deadly. And that was about it. So I'm like, now I got to go do the history on Uptown. Like, yo, what's up with y'all promotion, man? Like, how you have all these one-hit wonders, you know what I mean, all on Uptown. But
hey, hold on. You know the problem with that, though?
What's that?
Because it might be, somebody might say a group that we like a lot is a one-hit wonder when Girls That Got Them Locked. What's the name of the group?
Oh, Super Lover Sing Castle.
Yeah,
definitely.
But
definitely,
we heard the album. You know what I'm saying? But I know some people that did not.
Right. To me, this breaks down the definition for me of somebody who's ahead and somebody who's a listener. You know, going to Morgan, everybody listened to hip hop. But once we graduated and moved on with life, that's when I started to see who was ahead and who was just a listener. Because I would run into people, I'm like, yo, you heard such as? They be like, I don't even really, I'll be just in my 90s bag. And I'm like, oh, okay. You was just a listener. You wasn't really ahead. Like, you just listened because that's what everybody on campus was doing. But you don't know about nothing new. So, Ralph, I'm going to go off the top with you. Here's somebody that people may call a one-hit wonder, and I don't think so. Audio 2. You got Top Billin'. You got I Don't Care. Those are the only two singles that they had videos for. The average person never heard another song off that album. Hickey's on My Neck. The average person ain't never heard that. The average person doesn't even know they had another album out called I Don't Care, the album. We Get Your Mama Off the Crack, On the Road Again, I Get the Paper, Undercover Hooker. I fucked with that album, but again, I'm sure most people will be like, the only thing I know from Audio 2 is Top Billin'. Porsche, what about you? Real quick, just around the board, real quick.
No, I don't consider Audio 2 as a one-hit wonder.
Okay, Doug, what about you? One-hit wonder?
I do.
Okay.
And here's why. I respect Rock the Bells Radio for their mission and where they're doing, but they only play Top Billin'.
Okay.
That's it. But Top Billin', that's one of those songs that didn't have a chance to reach a chart because there was no chart for it to reach. But if this is the moment that I love, when you're at a concert before the show starts and they're playing that pre-show music, when the first beat of Top Billin' drops, everyone in the audience goes, oh, and everyone knows every word. And so that hits that third level of hit that I was talking about, where it's so in the consciousness. It was such a building block of hip hop that we had to have it. And it's a hit because of that on that third level.
Right. Veg, what about you? One hit wonder or not? And I know we're talking about a Brooklyn anthem and we're talking about some Brooklynites right now, but what you got for it?
One hit wonder. Honestly, I didn't remember those other songs until you started naming them. Then I was like, oh, right. Yeah. So they had joints.
Right.
But Top Billin' is the one we remember, you know?
Right.
Even being from Brooklyn around that time. So.
And Tone, what about you?
Oh yeah, when I think about them, it's Top Billin', Audio 2. That's one hit wonder for me. But again, I guess we also got to put in context, like, just because you had that one hit don't mean you didn't have other good music, but you didn't have any more hits. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you're still a one hit wonder. Doesn't mean you're not a decent artist or even a good artist. You just didn't have any more hits. So we know you for that one song. I know Audio 2, and it does still ring off. I mean, a lot of it cross generations. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
like you are at a concert or you somewhere, when that joint come on, Milk is chill. I mean, everybody, ring it off, but that's what people know Audio 2 for, and nothing else really, unless you're a real diehard hip hop head. Like here, what you were speaking just now was from the perspective of a hip hop head, not a listener. Nobody gives a shit about the rest of Audio 2 music.
Right. And bro, what about you?
Yo, it's so funny. On my list, I had Audio 2 with a question mark because I didn't know how to answer it. I was going to ask everybody else because the song is so like the song has been used and lines have been taken from it from other songs, and it's just, you know what I'm saying, like it's the one hit, but it's a hit that like
it's iconic.
Yeah, and it was hard for me to. I wanted to hear what everybody else said. I actually had a question mark for Audio 2. So yeah, I guess based on the qualifications, it's a one-hit wonder. But for a head that you was naming stuff that like the average just random hip hop. I mean, random listener didn't even make the attempt to listen to. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. And that's why for people watching, that's why I always tell people we all have different definitions for the same word. So I like to define everybody's definitions before we even get started. Because for me, Top Billin', of course, was the hit. But again, for me, when I think one hit wonder, I'm like, that's all you got. Like if we using the verses, it's like, what other card are you throwing down? If you have more cards to throw down, then to me, you're not a one hit wonder. Like if you say Color Me Bad versus fucking whatever, it's going to be like, I want to sex you up, and then what else you got? Like I don't have nothing else. So for me, even though Top Billin', you can throw out some other cards for Audio 2, but like I said, this is why I love the show, because everybody's gonna have a different answer. Doug, who's somebody that you got on your list, bro?
Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and set this bar real high, and I swear the more I think about it and the more I talk with people about this, if this song came out today in its original version, it would still be a hit today. Nikki D, Daddy's Little Girl.
Whoa.
Now, whoa. So are you saying that she is a one hit wonder, or you're saying she's not?
I'm saying she is.
I concur.
That hit is such a hit. It is timeless. It is a
I have
timeless
it on my
song.
list.
Let's take the lyrics away and just look at the musicality of it. There was a period in the 90s where we started listening to hypnotic trance beats, Enigma, a little Gregorian chant even. And so that beat was just wonderful for the era. You get the Suzanne Vega sample, which is iconic.
Yeah.
And Nikki's lyrical content. What a song. And it's a song that you could play in white college clubs. It's a song that you could have at Aeropostale playing in the background as you're shopping. It just fits in everywhere because it is quality music. It's just quality. So I want to start the bar high and just shout out Nikki D.
Nikki D was on my list too as a one hit wonder. And since you're talking about it, I had Susan Vega's Tom's Diner, who she sampled.
That was iconic.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because I don't even know if Susan Vega ever did anything else. So very dope pick, Doug.
See, and I would throw in Suzanne Vega's Left of Center that comes off a John Hughes soundtrack. I believe it was Pretty in Pink or Breakfast Club soundtrack.
Did she have a video for that?
I don't know if it made a video, but if you're into 80s iconic pop music and 80s soundtrack and love those Molly Ringwald, John Hughes movies, Suzanne Vega's Left of Center. Whether that was a hit or not, that I don't think it is, but it's one of those songs that we remember because of the 80s and the time.
Yeah, don't give me a line. I've never seen Pretty in Pink or The Breakfast Club. Never seen any of them joints.
Oh, I have.
Oh, never seen one. Hey, what you got up next? What you got up, bro?
Neither have I until my wife forced me to watch it. So
I feel you. I can't even do that, man. But I haven't seen a rack of movies. That's a whole nother show. We're gonna talk about movies we haven't seen. So I've got a lot of them because haven't seen Footloose. Never saw any of them movies like that. So
it could get disrespectful if I'm on it. I'm just let you know.
Oh, that's fine.
You know, I mean, the movies I haven't seen because I don't care. That's why I haven't
No,
seen
I,
it. Like,
I concur too. I concur, and it's both. It ain't just white movies. I ain't seen The Color Purple, and people like, man, you ain't even black if you ain't seen The Color Purple. Well, I guess I'm not black because I haven't seen it. Have no urge to see it.
I don't blame you on that. I don't blame you on that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've seen it so much now. I just be like, man, I don't want to see that again. Sorry.
I'm cool on The Color Purple. Bro.
Yeah, but what you got, Veg? And now, is this somebody who you're dispelling the myth, or is this a one-hit wonder?
I have lists for both. Okay, but I can start with the one-hit wonders. Okay. Positive K, I Got a Man. I feel like Positive K got other joints that we kind of know and remember him for, but if you're looking at hits, that's the only song most people know from that dude. Like, it was probably his undoing in a lot of ways, you know what I'm saying? Because it was kind of like, hey, he made that catchy song, you know, I Got a Man, and what else? But we know he has some joints, even on that album. He had some joints.
Step Up Front is what I know Positive K from. Like that was my introduction. Them drums, man, that's like one of my favorite songs of this day. But I feel you. I feel because there's not a lot of cards to throw out. And I love Positive K, but once you get past the joint, you know, I Got a Man, you know, Night Shift. He had a joint called Night Shift with Big Daddy Kane, talking on the court, and Step Up Front. But after those three, it's kind of like, you know, you run out of cards.
Yeah, he got one hit though.
The joint with Light, with MC Light.
I Got a Man. No. I'm not having it. Off the Basement Flavor.
Like that joint, that was dope.
It was.
Yeah, most people that remember all of that. They remember.
And I think Vegas makes a good point where you can have a hit that's such a runaway hit that it becomes a curse in a way, because now everything else is compared into it. And if you're not putting up that kind of number to match it, it's not your fault that the nation took that song and identified with it.
That's going to be the case for several people we talk about tonight.
Yeah.
Right. And the other piece too is that and again, I think we also have to look at like the time frame of the word hit, because I would dare to say that, because again, for me, if a shorty liked a song in the 80s and in the early 90s, I felt like that was a hit. You know what I mean? Because I didn't know any girls who were hip hop heads. So to me, almost every girl was a casual hip hop listener. Keep in mind, I didn't say every, I said most, or if I'm not, I meant to say most girls I knew were casual hip hop listeners, and they loved that. I'm Not Having It. They loved it because it was like, oh, that's light, and I could go back and forth with a dude, and you know. So at that point, like, that was a hit, you know. And that's a great point. I'm gonna write this down because it also comes back to one of the other people I want to talk about with this with hits. But so Paz K, you're saying is a one hit. Who's somebody you want to dispel the myth that they weren't a one hit wonder?
Biz Markie, Just a Friend.
Yes, I have that.
Oh man,
This is the
only record.
This is the Aries coming out. If y'all don't know, me and Veg have the same birthday next Thursday, April 3rd. This is the Aries because Veg, that's exactly, if you look right there, you can see Biz name was right there. Like that was literally the rain up. But talk your shit first and then I'll come in.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of like with Positive K, right? Like, you know, God rest my mother's soul, but with Positive K, for example, that's all she knew. I like that song. I Got a Man. I'm like, yeah, he got other joints. Like, it ain't just that. I felt like that with Biz. When you see parents and people older than us loving a record, and a record blow up for him, like even when Biz passed, it was like that's what they played. But Biz got the Vapors, like you said. If you throwing out joints,
the Vapors was a hit.
Music with your mouth, Biz, like
nobody beats the Biz.
He got a lot of joints, but
talking about
Just a Friend was
music with your mouth. Like this was a hit. This was a hit record.
But being in New York City, I knew it was a hit with us.
Right.
Just a Friend was a hit beyond us. That's what I mean when I say, you know, it's a hit. It's just that, like you said, once you start to include the casual fans, who know it and may not really listen to any hip hop if it doesn't reach them. It has to reach a certain threshold to be a true hit, right? It's a hip hop hit, a lot of the records we name, but some of that stuff just crosses a whole nother line, a whole threshold that says, oh no, this is a big hit. This is outside of what would chart or whatever. This isn't like a unsung record or a hip hop heads record. Like this is beyond that. And I knew that when I saw older people discovered Biz off of that record, you know, and they didn't go any further after that, you know, but we did, and we knew the history. So Biz is not a one-hit wonder. If you on Twitter or when Tony and Kill be arguing with y'all, yeah, Biz is not a one-hit wonder. Okay,
absolutely not.
Right. Yeah, and to me, it's totally disrespectful, and it shows me we ain't speaking the same language. You know what I mean? Because like you just named, make the music. Even this is something for the radio. Like that was a hit. Like, you know, that to me, his whole first album is a 5 Mic classic. So when people talk about Just a Friend, truth be told, I didn't even like Just a Friend. I mean, eventually it grew on me, but you know, hearing Just a Friend, I like Spring Again better than Just a Friend. So, but again, that's the piece that was almost like the same thing with Paz K, because like I said, I'm not having it was the hit back in '89. You know, Shorties loved it. It got video airplay. It was played on the radio. That was a hit for us. But as soon as we kind of creep into like the early '90s, it really was about, could you get over to that crossover place of being played during the day? Because people forget, there were times radio stations would brag on, we don't play hip hop. That was their. They had fucking signs up, like we're proud of that. So you know what I mean? So I think Biz is a great piece. R.I.P. the legendary. I mean, you see I got Biz right there. We got the Biz Pop figure right here. Like Biz to me is just the illest. So
nobody beats the Biz.
Nobody, man. Nobody does it. And still, it's so many rumors. Yo, when I left with Iron, because you know Iron and Biz was real cool. And I was like, yo, Iron, yo, word up. Did Biz have a whole nother house just for records? Because that was the rumor. Like the rumor was like Biz had so many records. Like, and even in his death, we're still like questioning. Iron's like, nah, that nigga ain't have no other house for records. But hey, it was like hip hop lore. Like you didn't know if it was true or not. You know what I mean? Tone, what's somebody you got, bro? And then break down which one it is.
And so this first one is one hit wonder. I hate this because these dudes is rhyming like hell on the album, man. But Deja Vu with Peter Guns and Lord Tariq.
Oh, I has that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yo, it's like, yo, that album, man, they was really rhyming on that album, yo. Real talk. They can rap. Lord Tariq is nasty to me. You know what I'm saying? But that is a massive song. A lot of pride, East Coast, New York pride, but that's their hit, man. So they definitely one hit wonder for me. And one that people might think a one hit wonder, but on the West Coast, they don't think that is Domino. You know what I'm saying? Like people hear that Ghetto Jam and think that's it, man. But he had that Sweet Potato Pie was charted as well.
Yeah, Sweet Potato Pie was dope.
The album had a gold. He had a gold album, and he was popping over there. And then also on the show soundtrack, he had the joint Dominoes in the House. You know what I'm saying? That joint was crazy. But yeah, Domino, man, was underrated, man. He had a couple of joints.
Yeah. Right.
Deja Vu is another one of those songs that I don't think it had a chance to hit the regular charts. But if you go to a concert and they play this before the concert, the first note of this song, everybody loses their mind. It's got such a vibe to it.
Yeah, it does.
Attached to it. This is an all-timer. Absolutely.
The other thing with Deja Vu and Lord Tariq, he was down with the Bounce Squad with Doo-Wop. When Doo-Wop had the Bounce Squad back in the day with the mixtape. So like you said, Lord Tariq was nasty. Peter Guns was cool. So I just felt bad that like Lord Tariq kind of got, because I felt like at that time when you got swept into the one hit wonder, like it was almost like we call them shits in the ocean, like a fucking not a black hole, not a wave, like
tidal wave. Oh,
now what is it?
Whirlpool. Yeah,
whirlpool. It's like you get caught in it and you can't get out. Like you just can't escape it. Like. Yeah, undertow, quicksand, whatever the fuck. Whenever you get in some shit and you can't get out. That's what I felt like at that point, because there was no coming back from that. You know what I mean? And then after that, when Steely Dan sued them too, that also pushed them even further down under. You know what I mean? And it's like you just couldn't bounce back, and it's messed up because, like you said, Lord Tariq was nice. You know what I mean?
You remember that blend? I ain't gonna cut you off.
No, you got it.
You remember that blend, that song Analyze This, when they blended Nas, Jay-Z, and Lord Tariq verses? His verses right there with them cats. You know what I'm saying? Like Lord Tariq was really spitting like that at one point. Really spitting.
Yeah. So that's a dope pick. That's a dope pick. Rel, who you got, bro?
I got my nigga Apache.
I had him too. I had Apache too, man.
Oh man,
Gangsta Bitch was a hit, man.
Man, that was my favorite.
Beat crazy, everything crazy. But after that, it was, I mean, it was.
Hey, Ray, did Q-Tip do that beat?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Beat was fire. The song was fire.
He used them little feet drums from Bonita Applebum.
And
set that thing off.
Yeah. But after that, it was nothing else after that. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that you can, nothing notable after Gangsta Bitch. So as fire as that song was, it was a one-hit wonder. You know what I'm saying? And for somebody that's not, I don't know if y'all got, because I had Biz on my list too, and I got Das Effects on my list as well. I know y'all probably mentioned them already, but
no. Now you're saying Das is what? Is a one hit or was it?
It's not a one hit.
Oh yeah.
And a lot. I hear people were being misinformed, saying that they are, but they absolutely are not a one hit wonder. And too influential in that time. Like everybody was biting their flow. Everybody wanted to be in the goddamn sewer in their video. You know what I'm saying? Like too influential, too fire of an album.
Hey, Ray, you know what too? They some of the first cats rocking them Timbs and all that too.
I was about to say that. The fatigues, people get out to the boot camp quick, but that was awesome.
Not for them.
That was awesome.
So,
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
What? The fatigues?
Rappers may have been doing.
Oh yeah, we're talking about rappers.
Oh yeah. Rappers. Yeah. Not in the streets, but just rappers.
Yeah. So
I think anytime you think fatigue, you think boot camp. Like, you know what I mean? Right. And Sims and
they definitely had the look before boot camp did for sure.
Yeah. They had the green army jackets and everything back then.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, P, what you got?
I got Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. The only song the only reason I even know. Listen, nobody was talking about Sir Mix-a-Lot. That song has been played in movies.
That shit was out there.
Oh my God. Nobody walking planet Earth has talked about Sir Mix-a-Lot outside of that song. I'm sorry.
That's
if
true.
they haven't, truly.
You're right.
And again, that song kind of took on a life of its own because it's been in movies. It's been, it's referenced by everybody across industries and genres and, like everything. So for me, Sir Mix-a-Lot is like the poster child for one hit wonder because I don't think anyone was ever checking for anything after. I don't even know if there's anything after, to be honest, or before. So there's that on that.
It's so funny because I'm so old that when you say Sir Mix-a-Lot, the first thing that comes to mind is Posse on Broadway. I don't even think about Baby Got Back. But I totally understand. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying because the average human being, yes, if you say Sir Mix-a-Lot, is definitely going to be Baby Got Back. And it's so funny that the song stayed around so long that it came back in because there was a time when it was like just fat asses. Then it was like nobody wanted fat asses. It was big tits. And now we're out of big tits and we're back to fat asses. It's still here. Like it came back. Like it came back around.
It's just so void of real substance. And I think that's honestly why it took on a life of its own,
because then Nicki Minaj sampled that, right? Didn't she do a song? Anaconda?
I don't know. I have no idea.
When it becomes so big and so ubiquitous that it's used in commercials, it's the go-to song to sell certain products. That is that's that first level of you've reached middle America where that song will never go away.
But to average music listeners, he's
Right.
definitely a one-hit wonder. For hip hop heads, our age, we remember Posse on Broadway first because it came out first with the video and everything. But in a global scale, he's definitely, he's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
He was the first guy to let us know Seattle actually had a scene.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's
Video
the
and
thing, Tone. Even with My Posse's on Broadway, I don't know no other song but Baby Got Back after that. So that falls into the two single categories. So, if
I
that's
throw
all you got,
Swass
that's
up
all you got. What happened?
I throw Swass up there. Don't you wish
that's
your
a song?
boyfriend was Swass
Yeah.
like me?
Oh,
Yeah, but
I
it
don't
was
even remember
Really?
that joint.
Okay.
No,
was
I
whack,
don't
though.
even remember that joint.
I remember that.
All right. Next up, I got for Dispelling the Myth, I got Joe Buttons, because people, and again, y'all know me. Let me put this in parentheses. I'm talking about MC Joe Budden. I'm not talking about the podcaster. I'm not talking about the fat nigga playing basketball now. I'm just talking about the MC. So most people, including myself, back in the day, back in 2009, I just looked at Joe as Pump It Up. Like that was all he had. You know what I mean? I went to this show with my man Esco. Shouts out to my man Esco. And him and all his boys from Brooklyn were hyped to see Joe Budden. And I'm like, the Pump It Up dude? Like, he was like, nah, you gotta listen to his mixtapes and da-da-da. This was the first time at that point in my life I had ever felt left out at a hip-hop show, because the whole crowd knew every word and I didn't know nothing. I was sitting at the bar by myself. Like, I'm totally left out. I went home that night, downloaded every Mood Music mixtape, and I've been a Joe Budden, the MC, fan for years. I even have a mixtape called The Mind of Joe Budden, because when I tell people how nice Joe Budden is, everybody always says, the Pump It Up dude? And I'm like, nah, listen to this mixtape, then they hear everything else. So for me, he's not a one-hit wonder, because the Mood Music series is crazy. To me, he has a top 5 storytelling rhyme ever in the history of hip-hop called 3 Sides to a Story.
3 Sides, yeah.
That joint is like 9 minutes. It's like a movie. It is incredible storytelling. So that should spark anybody. That is how I'm saying it is a top 5 storytelling song ever. Yes, I've heard Nas. I've heard all the bigs. I've heard, again, top 5. And the person who I do have as a one-hit wonder would be, I'm going to go with Question Mark Asylum. I don't know if y'all remember these dudes.
Damn, hey, look away.
They look away. Because this came out when I'm at Morgan. My man Dave, shout out to my man Crayola. He was like, oh, those my peoples. And the song was dope. Like, I was like, it was a dope song. I was like, yo, this is dope. This is DC. This may be DC's, like, this may be like they thing. The album came out hard. No, that was a hard no, man. And that was it. And again, if you're not ahead, you won't even remember Question Mark Asylum. So you know what I mean? But they kind of had the Far Side look to them, but they was from DC, with the dreads and everything. But that's who I got. Doug, the joint was banging. But again, it was like, and I was anticipating, like, okay, let's see what these dudes come with. And I don't know what I want a documentary on that. Like, okay, y'all, you made this song. Like, how did you not recapture this magic in any kind of way for the next 11 songs? Like, did y'all go to a new studio? Did you have fallen out with that producer? Like, what happened because if you could create this, why couldn't you create anything that's even remotely good? Like, ever again?
Hey, kid, you know what, man? And I think this is something we was talking about at the beginning of the show. Sometimes, man, lightning in the bottle happens, bro. You know what I'm saying? That lightning in the bottle happened at one crazy moment, and it's the gift and the curse for your career.
But here's the thing, Tony, I'm with you, but to me, that joint wasn't like the choice is yours. Like that to me is lightning in a bottle. And I'm not saying Black Sheep or one. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving an example of like that Question Mark Asylum. The average person probably don't even remember that. You know what I mean? So like that's not to me lightning in a bottle. Like lightning in a bottle is like you come out with the choice is yours, and then you just never hear from.
Okay, I got it. Okay, it's levels to it.
You know what I mean? So that's like the lightning in a bottle. Like Question Mark Asylum, that was like, yo, this joint is dope. Like, let me see what they hitting for, and they didn't hit for nothing else. So, Doug, what you got up next, bro?
I'll give you a one-hit wonder and somebody that was more than a one-hit wonder, at least to me. For the one hit wonder, I got my list here, and I can't believe I actually have to say this. I'm gonna go Philly with this. Schoolie DPSK.
Oh
yeah.
no! That cannot be a one hit wonder. No. Saturday night, PSK,
Doug, you
Gucci
chose
time,
this podcast to say that on.
you know,
No,
but I'm gonna let you finish. My bad. I'm gonna let you finish.
That hurt.
PSK is the mic drop walk off. There's nothing else that needs to be said after that. That's such a building block of hip hop. We don't have hip hop today if it isn't for that song being released. For that alone, I'm not saying that their songs aren't special to the culture, but when we're talking a hit, PSK
Right. I forgot. From your definition. Totally understand.
Right.
Totally understand. My bad.
Right. I'm not saying that there's not songs that aren't important to the heads.
Right.
Totally
understand.
Played at parties, but PSK is such an overwhelming building block of hip hop that we have to talk about that one song. And I wish there was something equal to it, but I don't think he had anything that was equal to it.
Oh, he didn't.
That's why I throw him out there. And for things that people think might be a one-hit wonder but aren't actually a one-hit wonder, I'm going to go ahead and show how old I am. And I've said this before in front of Jeremy Beaver, the founder of the Hip Hop Museum. And to the day I die, I'm going to be 10 toes down trying to get them inducted into the Hall of Fame. I want to shout out Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic 3. When we talk Rockmaster,
You gotta have to.
I'm going back.
You got You got, but you gotta tell me what they had outside the request line.
If you look at the dollar bill of America on the back, it says "In God We Trust," and if you look at the hip hop dollar bill on the back, it says "The roof is on fire. We don't need no water. Let that motherfucker burn." They had not, and request line is that song means the world to me. It's one of those perfect hip hop songs. Just the opening notes of it are so Pavlovian amazing that Missy Elliott said, "I gotta have that." And look what Missy Elliott did with the start of that song. But "The Roof is on Fire," there's no melody to that song. That is just boom, bap, building blocks of hip hop. I've gone to heavy metal shows. All right, left side, sing with me, "The Roof." Heavy metal fans know "The Roof is on Fire."
That's a massive joke.
I've gone to country music shows because the roof. Everybody sings it back. More than
But outside those two joints, what else did they have?
You said more than a one-hit wonder. There's your second.
Right. I feel what you say. And again, for people,
because King Charlie Prince on Facebook, look him up. But Rockmaster just got in the Dynamic 3. They got to get in the hall.
Nah, I feel you. But for people watching, I want you to understand, me and Doug have two very different definitions of one-hit wonders. Because again, to me, it's you have two singles. So somebody I'm going to bring up later on is Rob Bass and Easy Rock. It Takes Two is monumental. Joy and Pain was right there, but then that's it for them. You know what I mean? There's nothing else after that. So that's my definition. So I just want people to know, and I got to defend Schoolie, and again, maybe it's a Philly thing, bro. I don't know if it reached everywhere else, but Gucci Time, PSK, Saturday Night, that the root sample for Without a Doubt on Things Fall Apart. Am I Black Enough for You? Like, and maybe it was just Philly, but I had to defend Schoolie. But for people watching, again, that's why we define how we define it in the beginning. So totally understand what you dug. Veg, what you got up next?
Yeah, because when you was rounding off them songs, I was like, "Mama done burnt up the chicken." I don't know them shits. Like, what?
You don't know Gucci Time?
Probably
Looking at my Gucci, it's about that time.
But did it become that massive thing?
Okay.
I know.
Right. I know what you're saying.
Like some of that, a lot of Schoolie D got played in New York back in the days, but back then, you know, the hip hop shows like late at night, they wasn't always back selling songs. So you was just kind of, you knew what you knew, you didn't know. So again, if I heard a lot of
y'all can watch King of New York. For people out there watching, watch King of New York, one of the greatest movies ever. damn near every Schoolie D song is in that. You felt like he did the soundtrack to the whole movie. So watch King of New York, everybody. But I feel you, Veg. What you got up next?
For a one-hit wonder, this is easy. Jay Electronica, Exhibit C.
Oh, they're gonna hate you.
Oh,
I don't
man.
care. Because guess what?
No.
What other hits are there?
Exhibit A.
That's not
A
a hit.
hit? It's not a hit.
If it's
But,
a
bro-
hit, Exhibit C is a hit because what do you mean? Like, what do you mean hit? Because neither one of them are really hit.
You know what? Hold up. Flag on the play real quick. Because I think that is the word that is. I started some shit on Twitter a couple of months ago. Tony, I don't know if you was around for this. When I said something like Snoop don't have no more than like 5 hits. And niggas lost their fucking minds. You know what I mean? They was like the shiznit, fucking lottie dottie. I'm like, those to me aren't hits. When I think of Snoop's hits, I'm thinking Beautiful. I'm thinking Drop It Like It's Hot. I'm thinking songs like that. So we all also, so through this show, we have different definitions of hits. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the thing. So like I said, for me, I'm looking at it like throwing cards on the table. Like, Color Me Bad has nothing else to throw after I Want to Sex You Up. You know what I mean? So to me, if you could throw 6 more cards on the table, that's not a hit. So again, for Rel, Exhibit A to me, it's nowhere near the hit of Exhibit C. Because niggas heard Exhibit A and nobody was like, yo, this may be the next coming of Rakim. Right. After hearing Exhibit C, that's when people were like, oh shit, this could be the next coming of Rakim. So Exhibit A was dope, Rel. I actually kind of go back and forth which one I like better, but Exhibit C was the song that, like, I remember when that shit dropped. It was like December 2009, like, and it just shut everything down. It was like, yo, play that again, and even the bars, the stuff that he says in Exhibit C is so much doper than what he said in Exhibit A. But I agree with you. Well, Exhibit A is dope.
Yeah, I feel you, but
yeah, I'm not saying it's not a hit because for me,
like, I guess we got different criteria because like Exhibit C was what it was, and then you like, all right, what else you got? And it's nothing. Then all right, do one hit wonder, but you're not gonna tell me like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like Exhibit A was dope as hell to me. Like I could say that's another because neither one of them
bro, again,
commercial hits. They're hits.
Hip hop hits.
Hip-hop hits.
But here's the thing, bro. I think again, and I think you may have came in late, but I don't know if you did. But we were given a definition of what a one-hit wonder was, but we didn't do a definition of what a hit was. So I understand what you're saying. It's hard for me to think hit as top 40 because I don't speak that language. Like somebody came to Twitter, somebody came to me on Twitter and was like, yeah, but it was a top 40 hit. It went gold. And I'm like, yo, I don't care about none of that shit. But even from a hip hop standpoint, Exhibit C was a hip hop hit. I personally wouldn't categorize Exhibit A as a hit, a hip hop hit. It was a dope song, but I know everybody knows Exhibit C. Everybody can do the words to Exhibit C. I don't know if everybody can do it to Exhibit A, but I'm with you. So for me, oh man, that's a hard one. That's a hard one because those are the 2 joints. Because most people don't like the Jay album, the one he did with Jay.
Jay-Z album featured Jay Electronica.
Basically, like I know mad niggas who's like, yo, I use that as a coaster. Like literally, I bought the CD and that's a coaster on my coffee table. So, I mean, I don't know. Now we're diving into, can you be a one-hit wonder even though you got all these verses? Because Jay Electronica got a lot of fire verses. He got a lot of fire 16s, but they not his songs. So I can't be mad, Vay, because that falls into my 2-song minimum, so I can't be mad.
Well, let me explain it since I brought it up. First of all, Exhibit A was a dope record, but that's not what's in question, right? What's in question is a hit. And like I said earlier, it's not my personal definition, because even if you chart, that is a sign of popularity, right? That's not just a sign of record label play or anything like that. People like the shit. They bought it. So it charted, you know what I'm saying? So with Exhibit C, I'm not saying it charted because I don't really know what the chart was for that. But I know the impact was much greater than everything else I had heard from Electronica. And I was listening to all his shit and ready for everything because that was the first time I heard it in spaces that I had never heard Jay Electronica before, including Exhibit A. So if I'm listening to Hot 97 in the morning, at night, and they playing that shit every day, and it's the #1 station in New York, that's the hit. The Exhibit A is on with Flex at night, just to remind you, yo, he got more, he got this, he got that. But Exhibit C was the breakthrough because of Just Blaze, because of, like you said, the verses. It was just a perfect storm for him, and that's usually what these hits are. It's a perfect storm of lyrics and hooks and beats and it's just everything is catchy.
And the crazy thing was there's no hook. That's the craziest thing about Exhibit C. There's no hook. Right. You ain't even got a hook. You just got this nigga barring you. And I love Exhibit A and just did Exhibit A too. You know what I mean? But the stuff, as much as I love Exhibit A, I can't quote it the way that there's so many quotables in Exhibit C. Like, so to me, the two are like, it's almost, I don't even know. But I feel you, babe, because it does fall in the line of like, after that, I can't name you any other Jay Electronica songs. And I've got like 2 Best of Jay Electronica mixtapes. And I could be like, oh, that song I think is one like the Ghost of Biggie Smalls. Like you said, Tone, it's like, I gotta be like, yo, the hook go like this. And it's like, if you can't even remember the name, then the song can't be that dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I think he got dope records, but in the definition of having that one hit, he doesn't have another one with the same impact as Exhibit C. And that's
dog. I know people who are like, he is the GOAT MC ever just off Exhibit C.
Yep.
Just off that. And I'm like, yo, he ain't never even had an album out. Don't even matter. Exhibit C. Like that's so it. Cool. Like that's their big joker. And they will just they'll throw the card down, pick it back up, throw it down again, pick it back up, throw it back down. Like that. And that's I've never seen any MC ever come out with one song and just be like, you're the GOAT. And that shit was what, 14, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
And people are still waiting for a Jay Electronica album. I was on Twitter talking about, yo, where's this lost Just Blaze? I told somebody on Twitter, if you told me you had the album that Just Blaze produced for Jay Electronica back in 2009, I'd pay you $250 for it right now. If you said this is the album and it's 3 verses and this is it, this ain't no bootleg shit, this was the album that was supposed to drop that never dropped, I got $250 on it right now. That's how much I want that album that we just never got, you know? And who's the person you wanted to spell the myth for, Veg?
Souls of Mischief, 93 Till Infinity.
I have that on my list.
Very good pick, man.
People think that's the only song you got, perform it till you're dead, and that's it. And in some cases, it still works for them because it's still popular. They can still eat off of it. But when you listen to the album that song appeared on, they got so many joints. So many. But that's the one that you could throw out there and people recognize. And even though these guys, just as a sidebar real quick, even though these guys are far from one-hit wonders, what we're talking about, I saw play out in real time at a show down there in Maryland. I think we were there for somebody, I think Erykah Badu or whatever, but De La Soul came out. And it was performing all that shit we love, Grind Day, and I felt like I was the only one. Like, the minute they did Me, Myself, and I, the fucking crowd, when it was like they appeared on stage to people. And I was like, wow, that's all y'all know from De La? And it was even stuff when De La Soul was dead, like, you know, when they did Saturdays, you know, some do that one. But nothing like Me, Myself, and I. It's almost like they're Illmatic. Like, we hate it now, but we gotta perform it, or else people aren't gonna come back. So it's unfortunate because we're not those types of listeners, like you said with Jay Electronica. But some things are just pretty obvious when you say one hit wonder, where it's like, damn. To them, that's the only song they got. But, you know,
and the sad part, Vegas, like, that's not even on my Best of De La mixtape. Like, I hate Me, Myself, and I. Like, I would not be unhappy if they didn't perform it. In fact, please don't perform it. Like, so it's like the flip of the head versus the casual listener who is like, yo, they didn't perform their best song. And I'm like, yes, they did. They did Saturdays. They did Ring, Ring, Ring. They did Buddy. They brought out Trop. Like, what do you mean they didn't do their best song? It's like, nah, we want to hear Me, Myself, and I. Was like, who the fuck wants to hear? I didn't want to hear that shit when it dropped. I never liked Me, Myself, and I. You know what I mean? But that may have just been me. Tone, what about you? What you got up next, bro?
All right, one hit wonder is this cat back in the day named Ahmad. That back in the days when I was young, not a kid anymore. You know that joint. That was a real smooth joint, man. But Ahmad never had nothing else. But back in the day, it was on the radio, man. People used to vibe to that joint back in the day, man. Cookouts and everything, you know. But he just never. I mean, he had like one album, I believe. He might have had two, but just nothing else popped off for him, and he just eventually disappeared to the hip hop graveyard. You know what I'm saying? But and I think this is gonna be a little obviously yours, Kill, but who I don't think is a one hit wonder is Rob Bass and Easy Rock, because obviously It Takes Two is massive, but Joy and Pain was a huge song. People used to rock to that joint on the radio in the clubs. People danced to Joy and Pain. You got people hype. Played the cookouts too with It Takes Two. So, and they had 3 albums too. I mean, of course, they weren't like monumental albums, nothing like that. But I still feel like Joy and Pain was big enough of a song to get them out of the category of being a one hit. So Joy and Pain was a big song.
I would put up the Joy and Pain for some people was the gateway drug for them to find out who Frankie Beverly and Maze were.
That's true.
Yeah, that's good too.
That's true. That's true. And again, Tone, just for me, I was looking at like the people to like categorize. It was, but you're right. It's not. It's one hit. So if you got 2, then you wouldn't technically be there. All right. Yeah, you're right.
They snuck out of me.
Yeah, they snuck out because I was hyped for that album and I was let down. Like I ain't nothing else on that album to play. But you're right. This ain't the 2-hit wonder show. It's the 1 hit. So you're right. I gotta take Rob Bass and Easy Rock off. All right, bro. Who you got up next, bro?
I got, and they had a cosign, but one song on the album was I got Channel Live.
Great pick,
Mad-ism.
Cool.
Yeah.
We heard Mad-ism, we was going crazy. We couldn't wait for what was next, and what was next was not it.
What was next was nothing. Channel identification, and it was nothing. But again, this is what I mean, like with Question Mark Asylum, like, yo, what? All right, I know KRS did that. Maybe they couldn't afford him no more. So maybe that's what the problem was. Maybe it was like you had enough money to get one Alchemist beat, and then your homie down the street had to produce the rest of the album. Maybe that's what happened with that. Because, yeah, bro, I'm with you. I remember listening to 889 before I was even up there, and they was playing Mad-ism, and it was like, yo, what is this? And then you hear KRS on it. It was like, yo, yeah, that just great pick.
Yeah, I just remember like being hyped for that, and then you got a legend as a cosign on your first single, and I had the tape, and that joint was horrible, bro. Like it was nothing remotely close. Like not even like I can't even think of anything that was like dope on that joint. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I had Channel Live, and for someone that's not, you mentioned them. They was on my list. I had Black Sheep on my list, and you know, Choice Is Yours just took on a life of its own. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they had other joints, Strobe Light Honey. You know what I'm saying? They had Nobody was fired. It was 2 versions of that joint. And you know, I just think that.
Shit, don't forget that Similac Child remix.
Similac Child, that was the first. That was my intro. That was the first
remix.
Yeah, and then the remix. So like, but I think The Choice Is Yours just took on like the engine number 9. And the funny thing about that song that people don't like really realize, they like that part, and it's like good to play at parties, but like this nigga Drez is spitting on that song, bro. Like he is rapping his ass off on that song, but that part just took over. You know what I'm saying? Took over,
right.
And it was so cool to play at parties and stuff like that and get you hyped. But if you listen to this nigga rap, he's rapping his ass off on there. So
yeah. Hey, Ray, did you mention Flavor of the Month, Ray?
Nah, I was about to.
I didn't even get to that.
I was about to say that. I'm one of the few people who like Flavor of the Month better than Choice Is Yours.
I love that song.
I love Flavor. When I saw that and I heard that beat coming, I was like, oh, I'm in. And they down with Native Tongue, like, oh, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? So I think this may fall under what Doug was saying about I'll Be Sure. I feel like it's one of those, it was like a one-hit album because that second album, nah. You know what I mean?
Well, that was it.
I think I was the only person who liked that first single without a doubt. Like, I was the only person. But again, it's like now you got to follow up The Choice Is Yours because that's what people are expecting. And there's nothing on that album that remotely came close. And here's a little riddle. Here's a hip-hop little riddle for y'all. Did y'all know Drez and Jarobi have an album out?
Yeah.
Jarobi
from Tribe, Who Never Rhymed. Yeah. Now, here's a better question. Did they need an album out? Fuck no, they didn't. I don't know how these two met and got together at the gas station. I don't know how that happened because Drez and Jarobi, there's just nothing about that. Unless you telling me they found an old Dilla Beat CD from fucking like 97, I have no urge to hear that shit. Porsche, what you got up next, miss?
I'm going to dispel the myth for Warren G.
Okay.
Everyone, like I often hear Warren G only Regulate. Like that's just everyone's go-to.
Dang.
And that whole album is dope. Warren G's like guest appearances, his run with Nate Dogg, like it's just Warren G is just a West Coast gem, and I feel like he often gets categorized as a one-hit wonder. So definitely gonna mention that one. Like, yeah, that Regulate G-Funk era album is stacked with joints, and it is just such a good essence of West Coast hip hop at the time. So yeah, definitely not a one-hit wonder. What's up, Vegas?
What you say, Veg?
Me and Tone did a whole show on it.
No, yes, I love it. That's amazing. Good for you guys.
If
Love
you
it.
need the knowledge, go check that out. Hip Hop
Yep.
Now on YouTube. But I agree, like Regulate is his biggest song, and people could think he's a one-hit wonder, but I'm telling you, you listen to that first album, I know I was like, how did I miss this?
And you know, a matter of fact, bad thing we talked about this too. A lot of people don't realize like Warren G helped save Def Jam too. You know what I'm saying? The Regulate album sold 4 million copies. You know what I'm saying? He was massive without any cosign really from the West Coast.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So no, absolutely not a one-hit wonder. That's a classic.
That's
Right.
This
Agreed.
DJ, my favorite. I like this DJ.
This DJ was dope.
That joint was fire. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, shout out real quick. I love these the ladies that he rocked with, the 5-footers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, that was on the show, John, right?
Super Soul Sisters and all that stuff right on the show.
Yeah.
But them Warren G homies, you know what I'm saying? Like they was nice. The heist,
Yeah.
they had to do the heist, but anyway.
Nah, that's
Sorry.
dope. That's dope. No. I'm gonna dispel Nice and Smooth. People have said if they one-hit wonders just off the hip hop. Yeah, what was that joint? Hip Hop Flunkies or Hip Hop Junkies or whatever.
Hip Hop Junkie.
Hip Hop Junkies. And I'm like, nah.
Oh, sometimes
I'm like, nah. Like, you know, you talking about. I'm going back to the debut with Funky for You, Early to Rise. You know, like them joints was crazy to me. Like that's what I mean.
Sometimes I rhyme slow.
Yeah, sometimes I rhyme slow. Like
Have you
was
seen him in concert before? They rock,
Nah, I've
bro.
never seen them in concert. I mean,
Nice them down here, bro. They kicked ass, bro.
oh, I could believe it. I mean, the first time I heard Nice and Smooth was on Kane's second album on Pimpin' Ain't Easy.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, damn, who these boys? And then I heard Early to Rise. I was like, oh, this shit is dope. You know what I mean? So definitely wanted to spell that. I'm gonna throw another one in just to kind of move us along too. He is Apartment 5B's lawyer, Trey Lee, the Theme. You know what I mean? A lot of times people will be like, yo, he only got that one song. I'm like, yo, you ain't hear Many Faces? Like that whole album was my joint. You know what I mean? And I think it also comes into the play of when a lot of things started happening. So around 97, 98, a lot of hip hop started getting shelved because labels didn't know how to push it. A lot of labels were going under, or people like presidents were leaving, and it's like, if I sign Porsche and then I leave and then Babe becomes a new president and he don't like Porsche, then Porsche gets shelved. So there was a lot of that kind of, you know, going around. And I mean, just off of that, like when I tell people, like when I'm like, nah, Trey got like 5-6 albums out. They like, God damn, like I had no idea. You know what I mean? His Live from the 215 album that got shelved had a young Kanye West, a whole bunch of producers on that. And while we showing love to 5B fam, we got shout out my man Grap. Because people think I was a one-hit wonder just with Faking Jacks. And it's like, yo, that whole first album was a 5 mic classic to me. You talking about Pete Rock beats in 98, Robbo, Grap, crazy joints. And I mean, Vague, Little Mike used to come down from New York. We'd be spinning all that shit, Center of Attention, The Life I Live, Back to Square One, all them joints all the time. So I definitely got to put Dispelling the Myth for both.
This is quick.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to give another shout out to Tracy Lee because a few weeks ago on It Is What It Is, Cameron and Mace gave him some love because Mason was talking about when they went down, I think Jack the Rapper or something like that, and certain cats supposed to be nice down there. And Cameron was like, yeah, like Trey Lee and these other cats, yada yada yada. So they gave him some love. Little kind of quick shout out on It Is What It Is, man. And Trey Lee he one of the few people to say, yo, I went bar for bar with Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't overlook that. Give it up. Was it give it up, baby? What's that? No, keep your hands high.
No. That was keep your hands high. Yeah.
Hands high. Like he went with Biggie, dog. So like he's not a one just off that.
Right. Now the person who I will say is a one-hit wonder, I'm gonna go with Boss. I love Deeper. Deeper was my shit. Deeper still gets me hyped to this day. If you told me, Kill, I will pay for the rest of Naomi's fucking collegiate career. If she wants to go get a doctorate, if you could name me one more song, I'll be like the Deeper remix. Maybe there's a song called Boss. I have no idea what another song from Boss is, but Deeper was my shit. And another person, Rel, a lot of people ain't gonna remember this person. This is how much of a one-hit wonder he was. Han Soul. He was out of Philly. I don't know if you remember this boy, bro. I don't even fucking remember the name of the song he had, but I remember him. But it was definitely a one-hit wonder, man. I gotta find the name of the song. I don't know why I didn't write it down. But Han Soul, just look him up. He was a one-hit wonder, trust me. Doug, who you got up next, bro? Who are you dispelling?
I can't believe we've gone this deep in the podcast with mentioning this. And when I say this, they may have other songs, but when you're talking about a hit, Loonies, I got 5 on it.
Yep.
That's right. It's about right.
It's 30 years old this year. Came out in 1995. You can play it at a variety of places, and it fits the audience. And now, since the legalization of marijuana, and it's become so much more, it's just an anthem. It's a building block. It's ubiquitous. We know it from the first notes. I wish there was more of that level of quality from Loonies. I wish we had more of that. There were other songs, but nothing reaches the heights of that. When we come to people that we thought were one-hit wonders.
Well, hold on tight, Doug, for 1 minute. I want to say about that. I also think that what's the boy? Key and Peele. Which one is he? Jordan Peele. I think that movie. I forgot the name of his second movie. Us. I think it was called Us. Yeah. That gave that a whole nother life too, because that was like, even in the movie trailer and in the movie, a lot of people was rocking with it after that too. So don't pull with that. But what's your next one up?
Yeah, it can't be used enough in too many places. The one that I want to shout out, and once again, I'm going to show my age here. I want to shout out the world famous Supreme Team. Everybody thinks about Hey DJ as the world famous Supreme Team, but they actually made one of the greatest one-hit wonders of all time, Malcolm McLaren and Buffalo Gals. Malcolm McLaren's name really isn't attached to any other song, but Malcolm McLaren had nothing to do with Buffalo Gals, and hip-hop would not be what hip-hop is if not for the world-famous Supreme Team being the brains behind Buffalo Gals and the genius behind that song. So Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic 3, world-famous Supreme Team. I'm going way back tonight.
Nah. I love it, man. Hey DJ is one of my favorite songs ever. I remember being a little shorty listening. So that's dope. Vague, what you got up next, bro?
All right. One-hit wonder, House of Pain, Jump Around.
I also have that on my list. Yeah, named also.
Man.
The album was okay. But I feel like people don't even mention the Pete Rock remix. It's just that song, just the original, is what continues to get the burn and the attention. for House of Pain. But yeah, you know, they can be considered a one-hit wonder. I know, what's his name? Everlast went on to have,
Everlast, Danny Boy.
right. They went on to have a different career, well, in a different genre of music. But as far as House of Pain, as we knew him when that song dropped, how dope it was. You know, having Pete Rock do a remix, Muggs on the beats, like it was. There was a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
And it just feels like the only thing that's remembered is Jump Around. So
Did Muggs do that first album? Do you remember?
yeah.
I don't know.
He produced the whole album.
I don't know if he did every song, but I know he did the majority.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that even before House of Pain, Everlast comes out of Ice-T's Rhyme Syndicate and had a semi-hit with a song called I Got the Knack before House of Pain ever formed as a group.
Yeah, that's when he had like a flat top.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah, he was trying to figure out who he was and came out of that Ice-T Rhyme Syndicate.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's funny because I was just watching Who's the Man the other day, and it comes on with the House of Pain, Who's the Man. That shit was hard, man. That to watch that movie and it comes on with that, I'm like, damn, I forgot about this shit. Like this joint was kind of hard, man.
It's hard.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But you're right. It's a one hit. So who you dispelling, Vague?
I'm gonna keep it Brooklyn right now. You know what I'm saying? MOP, Annie Up. I'm gonna need y'all.
Nice.
Realize.
Very dope. Very dope choice.
They've been robbing people since day one. Just watch How About Some Hardcore. Stop.
Yeah.
Album is not the first album. It has some dope joints on there. You know, what is it? Blue Smoke or something like that. And Guns N' Roses. You know, but watch How About Some Hardcore video. They literally put a gun in somebody's face and it doesn't look staged. It looks like he didn't know we was gonna do that, but we in Brownsville, okay?
Right.
But literally, most people who are aware of MOP, they only know Annie Up.
And Cold as Ice was hot too.
Right, and Cold as Ice was hot at the time.
Nah, MOP got so many cards to throw down on the table. It's stupid. I mean, Brownsville, New Jack City, fucking what's the shit with Cool G Rap off the second album?
What is it like?
I mean, Stick to Your Guns. Yeah,
they don't have a bad album.
Nah, they don't. They got
album after album. They got songs that could have, if Annie Up's going to be a hit, they have plenty of songs that could have been in that same vein, right? But you know, fortunately for them, you know, Annie Up just popped, and now it was, you know, it was in that movie. I forget the movie. One of them dance movies in the 2000s. John Cena kind of took some of the vibe from it for his anthem when he walks out. I mean, his theme.
Yo, I didn't know Jake One did that
for John Cena.
Yeah, I never knew that. Yeah, he just posted that like on IG the other day. I was like, yo, I never knew he did this beat.
No wonder he be so quiet. He rich.
But I love that pick, Vay, because I had MOP down too. On this list because people swear it's just Annie Up, and I'm like, Warriors may be my least favorite album out of all their well, no, not the first one, but like the second, third. I take those two. They had an EP that was out there for a minute. I mean, the Primo remix is Rugged Never Smooth. I mean, there's so much MOP stuff that is just stupid. I mean, G Building. There's just too many bangers out there for you to only think that they're a one hit wonder. P, I know you gotta get ready to go. Where can they get at?
Just on Blue Sky at Cherchella Porsche.
She still is over on Twitter from time to time.
From time to time, I keep a tab on Kill and the shit he starts sometimes, and I pop in to see what's going on, who's saying what. But Blue Sky is where I like to be. It's good.
Yeah, and if you ever got to Drake this, tag her on Twitter. She'll pop up. She'll always pop up for Drake, for any type of Drake.
Absolutely true.
She's always there. All right,
thank you guys. It's so nice to see all of you. Doug, really great to meet you. Rel, Tone, Vegas, Killed. Bye, guys.
All right,
Joe. Tone, what you got up next, bro?
Man, dude, I guess I need to go back to day one real quick in this hip hop thing. Did we say Sugar Hill Gang Rapper's Delight?
Nah, we haven't.
Oh, we must.
It was on my list.
We must. I mean, this song helped set off this entire culture that we love so much. But at the end of the day, these cats wasn't rappers. They was thrown together. One cat took Kaz and rhymes, all this kind of shit, and they whacked. But it was a set off point for getting us on the radio and all of the stuff like that. But they never had anything else. You know what I'm saying? So they're the biggest one-hit wonder probably in hip hop history because they helped make hip hop relatable and spread it. But that was all they had.
I got a question about that though. Do we credit them with Apache or do we credit the Bongo Band with Apache?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Because Apache is definitely up there with a hit. Apache is so into the culture as a building block. But do we credit the Bongo Band with it or the Sugar Hill version? Is there?
I think you got to credit the Sugar Hill Gang because the Bongo Band is more so just what the Breakers would break to. You know what I mean? So
people still do karaoke to the light right now.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I think it kind of comes back. I think it kind of comes back to, and it may not be as big as Rob Bass, Joy and Pain, but you're right. Rappers Delight is. I feel like this is Exhibit C to Exhibit A again. You know, just in a different vein. Like, of course, you know, Rappers Delight is just it. You know what I mean? But Apache was it too, just not on that level. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's the Exhibit C, Exhibit A thing again. Like, one was huge for the world, and one was just huge for us. You know what I mean? So
I'm not sitting here on this podcast if it wasn't for Rappers Delight, 4th grade, 1979. That was the big bang for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think it was for most. I think for most people, probably outside of New York at that time, that was their introduction.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, now somebody in the Bronx probably like, nigga, I knew about that shit. But for the rest of us, that is the thing that pulled us in. That is the video.
Yeah, I'm a
4th
grade kid in southern West Virginia, little coal mining town with a little crappy record store. That's all I've got as a lifeline. That's, you know, so that was my big thing.
Right. I feel you. Who you dispelling, Tony?
Remember, I'm gonna dispel special ed. I heard certain cats like,
man.
Hey, that's it. I'm like, you don't know much about hip hop, then. If you think I get
special ed is a one hit wonder?
Man, like, come on, do it.
Oh man,
we talking about a mission. Come on, let's move. I mean, what we talking about?
First of all, we can talk about that second album, Legal, that nobody talks about. I don't know if it was the album cover with him trying to look like a Gap model or some merry-go-round model, but you put that in. You put that shit in. Which you remember merry-go-round, right, Ralph?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, in the mall, Shellingham Mall. But you pop that in. Come on, let's move it. The Mission.
You wish you could.
You wish you could. Mike's and Men. That was the first time I heard the hair sample before Pete used it for Run DMC Down with the King. I heard Down with the King. I was like, oh, that's that special ed sample.
Bro, I like legal more than Youngest in Charge.
I'm not mad at that, bro. I'm not mad at that, man. Yeah, it had the Magnificent remix on there. Like, bro, nah. Yeah. That's some casuals, but that's a great pick. Ralph, who you got up next?
All right, for one hit wonder, I got my list real quick. I got Milk Bone.
That was a one hit wonder. God bless the dead too. God bless the dead.
Oh, really? Oh yeah.
He passed away.
But keep it real. When
that's all he had.
That was a time, like, that joint was fire. The beat, everything.
Yeah.
The beat was crazy. He was spitting on there, and it's so funny. His next song, he had like Nas was in his video. Like, I don't know if most people remember that, but he had another.
What's the next song?
Something about a party. I can't remember where the party at. Something like that. Where he sampled Biggie's.
Where the party at?
Yeah.
Where the party? Okay.
Yeah. He sampled that, yeah, but after that, that was it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, rest in peace to him. And I'm dispelling Kwame.
Please.
You know, people.
I got Kwame on my list too, man.
People think only you, and that's it. But my favorite is The Rhythm, and he was spitting on that. That's my favorite. And like, people just, you know, think of Only You, and then that's it. That's all that he contributed. But that is certainly not true. So
he wrote and produced most of his music.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I had Kwame on my list too to dispel it, because I remember when we first saw the video for The Man We Know and Love, and it was like, yo, this shit is dope as hell. You know what I mean? Then coming back, because then first in the video, he's one of the first boys that we had seen with the high top fade, and he had the blonde streak in the front. You know, at the time, dudes would have maybe the high top fade, but I never seen nobody with the blonde streak in the front. The Man We All Know and Love with Spinderella in the video. He did the whole Minnie Riperton Loving You, John. That was crazy. Then to come back with The Rhythm. Then he came back with Sweet Thing. And then the Only You, that album, A Day in the Life, is one of that's a personal 5 mic album for me. I don't expect anybody else on earth except me and Kwame to feel like that album is 5 mics, but I love that album. So now, you're 100% right. Kwame ain't no one hit wonder.
No.
That album ran crazy in Philly. I remember. I remember.
Yeah.
That album got a lot of play in Philly. My older cousins played that a lot.
Yeah. Next up, I got Third Base, because a lot of times people say all they had was Pop Goes the Weasel. You know what I mean? I felt like, you know, they had to step into the AM. My personal favorite, Brooklyn Queens. One of my top 10 remixes ever is Product of the Environment, the Molly Mall remix, which was crazy. So I'm just spelling Third Base. I heard somebody. Oh yeah, Gasface. I'm bugging. Like, what am I thinking about without Gasface? I'm also dispelling Camp Lo with Lucchini. People have said that they're one hit wonders with that joint. To me, that whole debut album is 5 mics album. They've got to do it again. Black Hollywood, Another Heist, Ragtime, High Time, and they've got a joint called 80 Blocks from Tiffany's 2, produced by Pete Rock, which is fucking bonkers. You know what I mean? The only knock on that album is like 30 songs, you know, because it kind of feels like a good thing. We said?
Camp Lo nasty, bro.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part. Camp Lo has a song with MOP that's fucking crazy. Now, there's no way on earth, produced by Pete Rock, there's no way on earth that Camp Lo and MOP should have a song together, tone, and it fits perfect. You're not like, well, what? Perfect. You know,
I love Camp Lo. I love MOP.
They got a song on there with Uncle Murder that fits perfect. And they got a song on there with Mac Miller called Megan Good. That's they
just dope, man.
People don't realize they can fit in with anybody, because there's no way that Camp Lo should be on a song with MOP and that joint be dope. But it's dope. Crazy. If y'all haven't seen it, 80 Blocks from Tiffany's, check that out. Now, think about that early Ski produced
music that they were on, that some of those songs got out to other artists. Like Jay got a couple of them.
Feeling it.
Yeah, feeling it. He wanted Lucchini, and they was like, no, sir. But during that time, they were the first with that sound. Like when Ski was really in his bag. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Right.
People who one hit wonders. I got the Flatliners, which was the knockoff group of the Grave Diggers. And we talked about them numerous times. The Hood Rats, who were knockoff group of Onyx, which bootleg, you get your leg broke. So both of them were definitely one hit wonders. Doug, who do you have up next, good brother?
Okay, there was this great time in the 90s. Q-Tip and Tribe started getting us into that jazz vibe. Guru hits us with Jazzmatazz. And out of this jazz hip hop fusion gives us one of the one hit wonders that still lasts today. And I'm going to throw out Us Three, Cantaloupe.
Damn, you took it back with them.
That song was, it's still a hit. I can't name. Did they even have an album?
You took it back with that, bro. I ain't heard that name. And
you took it back with that one.
That is it. But they still play that behind commercials to this day. I don't know what the reasoning behind the group was. I don't know what they were aiming for with their career. But that song did mad crazy business on the charts. and it was just everywhere. That is a one-hit wonder. Don't know where they are.
Yeah, that's a good pull. That's a good
song,
pull.
you hear that song on TV a lot. On commercial, that song is everywhere. Like, that's a good pull. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good one. Damn.
And then for people that they think we're one-hit wonders, but we're not actually one-hit wonders, I'm going to go back in the day. I'm going to shout out UTFO. Everybody immediately goes to Roxanne, and rightly so. That song is a building block of hip-hop. But I'm going to also throw out Leader of the Pack, which came in at number 32 on the R&B charts and 43 on the dance charts. And my personal favorite that means a lot to me, Fairy Tale Lover. A lot of people don't know.
Let me explain something.
They came in at number 36 on the R&B charts with Fairy Tale Lover.
Hold tight with that.
UTFO was the first live hip hop I ever saw in my life.
Hold tight with that. This right here, bro. You talking some shit right now. Fairy Tale Lover. People don't understand. This was a legitimate slow song. So number one, there was a time in hip hop where you had to have a slow jam. You know what I mean? Heavy had Don't You Know. Of course, L had I Need Love. Sweet T had Why'd It Have to Be Me. MC Shan had Left Me Lonely. Fairy Tale Lover, number one, like you just said, predates them all, including I Need Love, and is actually a banging ass slow jam. I remember them playing this on, like, what was the name of the Quiet Storm? I remember them playing that joint on this. Dope pull right here. One of my favorite albums ever. Let me rephrase that. One of my favorite songs ever off a good album. But I just love the fact that Mixmaster Ice was a DJ and he was a ninja. Because around 84, I wanted to be a DJ and I wanted to be a ninja. So I was like, this nigga is it. Like, you know what I mean? People don't forget Into the Ninja. People don't remember Into the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja. I was big into my karate fix back in the day. So seeing him as a DJ and he was a ninja, I was like, yo, this dude's the dopest ever. And Mixmaster Ice was nice on the 1 and 2. But very dope pull, man. Bite It. You know what I mean? Bite It was a dope joint. You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely. Great pull with UTFO, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What you got up, babe?
Kind of ran out of one-hit wonders, but I think I have one. And some may disagree because maybe he had songs they liked, but I don't think anything was close to an actual hit in the definition I gave earlier. Akinyele, Put It in Your Mouth. That song, I couldn't believe it was even on the radio.
Right.
And I remember, I heard, Akinyele records and mixes back in the days with his first album.
Yeah, the bomb was the shit, but yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't big. This showed that, other people know who Akinyele is because they only know that song.
Yeah.
Right.
And even the EP was kind of crazy. Because they came out with an EP, I forget the name, provocative ass covers like he usually does, but
yeah. I can't, bro. I love this album. I'm one of the few people who love this joint. Used to love the Akaha. I mean, I love this album. But you're right. Most people only know him for Put It in Your Mouth.
Yeah, it's almost like it was a perfect storm for him. And it was weird because it happened so far after that album. It's especially around that time, because maybe it was a couple of years, but that time hip hop changed so quickly between when Put It in Your Mouth came out, when everything had to kind of be some kind of party record, versus when he dropped, when everything was about boom bap. So he, in a lot of ways, I have that album too, and I have the songs I like. But if I said I could even say to my wife, "Hey, you remember Akinyele? Put It in Your Mouth."
Right.
Yeah.
You don't
Yo,
remember?
the wild part, babe, you 100% right, because I remember that playing the mixtape round, doing the mixtape rounds first. And it was like, yo, this is crazy, this is dope. But like you said, to hear it on the radio, it was like, wait a second.
right.
Who did y'all have to pay to get this on the radio? Because I thought it was almost like, what it reminded me of? Big's Dreams. You know what I mean? It just did the mixtape rounds. We all knew it. It was crazy. But you can't play that on the radio. You know what I mean? But with Put It in Your Mouth, they did. Like
women loved that song.
They
Women
love
Yeah,
loved
sing
that song.
in the clubs.
Yeah, right.
what Chris Rock say? He ain't talking about me. He talking about hoes all day. He ain't talking about me. So I'm gonna sing this song all night. But you right, women love that joint, B. What you got up next? Oh, you got another one? Did you dispel it? Or
Yeah, dispelling. Pharoah Monch, Simon Says.
oh yeah.
There are some people, they didn't know him before that. They didn't know who he was after that. It was really just that record. And even sometimes I gotta say, like, oh yeah, Pharoah Monch, Simon Says, man, like, what record is that? And I gotta be like, nah. Like, oh
yeah.
that's the record, the Godzilla sample.
Right.
I think a lot of that also for him, it's kind of like who you mentioned earlier, Lord Tariq and Peter Guns.
Right.
The
sample clearance.
The sample killed the momentum of that record and his trajectory beyond that hit, because like most benefited from, you know, dropping his hits and then they becoming, you know, big for him. Pharoah had one that was arguably bigger
than everything most dropped.
Thing, you know, the album off the shelves, you know, it wasn't being played on the radio. So the album did get a lot of burn, and then, you know, he could never really capture that, even though he's dropped so much dope music throughout his career, from Organized Confusion as a soloist up until his solo album run is crazy. He don't have a whack album at all.
Nah, not at all.
But a lot of people wouldn't know that, because he's really, to some of them, he's really only that one time he was played on the radio a lot.
You know the crazy thing, Veg, I think about, it's amazing how lightning in a bottle happens, because you talk about Akinelli, Put It in Your Mouth, right? Okay, we're talking about Girls Rub on Your Titties. Yeah, I said it. Rub on your titties, right? You're talking about Annie Up, robbing people. Like, yo, kidnap that fool. Like, how did they, like, I'm just always wondering, from me and Vague doing radio for so long, I'm always intrigued, like, what was the bag like for these songs? Because it doesn't make any absolute sense whatsoever. That Flex, just all of a sudden, Flex was dropping so many bombs on his song. If you buy the Warriors album, you don't even get the regular Annie Up. You get Flex scratching it on the album. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just play Annie Up. You can't just put it in and hit play and the beat come on. You got to hit Flex. So what was the, like, because like you said, bro, it just never made sense to me. You know what I mean? Why it's just like Flex, you've never played MOP, but you just love Annie Up this much? Like, you know, or you can't play this on the radio, but you're gonna play Put It in Your Mouth. Like, it just, it's like it doesn't add up. And I mean, I know sometimes in life maybe everything doesn't have to add up and everything doesn't have to line up perfectly, but it just kind of just makes you be like, yo, this is crazy. What's up, Ed?
I was gonna say, I think, you know, a lot of it, when you think of the time, that's when you could still play record in a club and know you needed to play it on the radio, right? Because seeing a crowd just explode with a record, especially if you're not aware of it, or you're seeing that they're aware of it, and the whole club explodes and everybody everywhere is moving and reacting to it, you know,
it's like you gotta play it.
You gotta play it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, yo, we have to find a way. So I know those conversations about Akinelli's song is real with the program directors and the music directors. Because if I'm a program director, I'm like, you try to play what? Like 4 p.m.? Like, put it in, are you crazy? Like, clean. Like, so what? But again, when you see the response, like, you know, I was at Morgan at that time. And like Tone said, I remember DJ SNS came down, and SNS is real good for the ad-libs. Like, I want the SNS version of Put It in Your Mouth, because he was adding ad-libs like, what? I was like, damn, that shit sound hot. It's kind of disrespectful, but yeah, it does sound hot with the record. But it was so huge, there was no, everybody was into it. The ladies was into it. The guys was in it. Like, it just was infectious. So I just think like the club had a bigger role back then.
I feel what you're saying. It's almost like we're running them with the Adidas. It's like you see 20,000 Adidas in the air, like Adidas, like we gotta sign these dudes, like
Right.
we got to, you know what I mean? We wasn't gonna sign them before the show, but you got that going on. So you're right. Like if you got a whole crowd of women and men singing, just put it in your mouth in unison like a choir. It's like, damn, I guess we gotta play the joint. You know what I mean?
Right.
So nah, no point. Son, what you got up next, bro?
Man, and this MC, I love her, man. For Death Row, Drop the Ball, Afro Pulse, Lady of Rage, man.
Yeah.
You know, and just like last year, when she set that song off on Dog Pound album, was produced by Premier, man, and just always love the way Rage set off Dog Pound album also. And she's a great MC, man, and she should have had more. They dropped the ball. They released an album several years too late. You know what I'm saying? And Afro Pup ended up being her only hit, man. So unfortunately, Lady Rage, even though I'm a huge fan, and dispel this one. Criss Cross is not a one-hit wonder. I know some people thought Jump it was the only joint, man, but yo, man, they had that joint, The Bomb, Tonight's the Night, I Missed the Bus. They had all for a young crowd at that time. Criss Cross were huge. They had like several songs on the top 40. First album sold 4 million copies. And if you go back and believe it or not, they have to have a greatest hits album. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, they're not a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, I can't call. I never heard that shit, man. I heard Jump. I was good. I was out. I was like,
they had several big songs. Warming Up was huge.
Warming Up, Chris, yeah.
Warming Up was huge. Tonight's the Night was huge. You know
you mean like Warm It Up, like you Warm It Up, Chris, like Warm It Up Kane? They Big Kane shit?
I mean, I guess that Big Kane shit, but I don't know if they, you know, but yeah, they had a big song called Warming Up.
Oh,
They did. It is just entitled.
Yeah, just entitled. They weren't
okay.
They weren't trying to rap like Kane. It didn't sound like that. No. That's just the name of the song.
Look, I had
Hilarious
a
again.
so
So what?
Criss Cross was it. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's several platinum albums, dog.
illegal.
see, I think-
Okay.
Yeah. And see, I think that's the thing. Like when I'm on Twitter and niggas are talking Criss Cross, I'm like, nigga, you was 8 when that shit came out.
Right.
You was supposed to like that shit. Like that was you. Like I missed the bus. They're talking about missing the fucking school bus, nigga. I was
That's
in
right.
college.
That's
so like,
Right.
so I get it, but like you said, like it was illegal. But the funniest thing is, everybody go watch Who's the Man. It's on Tubi. It's on.
Yeah, but I was in college, but I still needed to listen to Another Bad Creations at the playground in Aisha.
Now when that
Still
came
listen to
out,
those songs to this day. I'm a 55-year-old grown ass man.
yeah, I remember being a shorty. Well, not being a shorty. I was in high school when that came out. I liked it just because my girl liked it. You know what I mean? And she wanted to hear it in the car or whatever like that. But the funniest thing is Criss Cross is in Who's the Man. The funny thing about Who's the Man to me was just seeing all the cameos.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it is seeing all the cameos of rappers who aren't with us anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like seeing Fife in the barber chair, or seeing Guru, you know, just seeing Apache, you know, seeing all the MCs who just aren't, I mean, it's born from Criss Cross. Like, you know, it's like, damn, like this is just, it's crazy that so many people in this movie just aren't here anymore with us anymore. So definitely. Bro, what you got up next?
For One Hit Wonder, I got Blase.
I did too, dog.
In the house. Oh my God! When we heard that, we was going crazy, and that was it.
And J. Rue was in the video too?
Yeah.
Like,
We heard that. That's one of them singles that was ringing, and nothing to follow it up with, yo. Nothing.
Man, the album had a couple little joints on it though, Rev. I mean, not no big songs, but I like the album had a few joints, but
I heard it, and I know a lot of people didn't even give that joint a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right.
I get the tape upstairs somewhere.
Yeah, that joint, the single was crazy, but
Yeah.
and I'm dispelling like strongly. Beat Nuts are not.
oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck no. No.
You know, non-heads only think about the joint with Pun. But there's one of my personal favorite groups. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, you got your Outcasts, your Mobb Deep, but one of my personal favorites is the Beatnuts. You know what I'm saying? And you know,
bro, you can start right there with that. You come back with this, or even before that, you come here, like, bro.
I even like, because Stone Crazy is missing in that, and I even like that.
Yeah.
Stone Crazy is a dope album.
Yeah. So Beatnuts definitely not.
No, they got dope projects, bro.
Some of y'all about
you
Beatnuts, man.
You get props over here. That was my joint.
Oh man, yeah.
This album to me, this is the album that this came out like maybe the summer 94, 95. This is the album I heard this and I said, I'm gonna be a producer. Like, I'm coming back to Morgan, and I don't care if I got the Rob Still cheap with to get an SP 1200. I'm gonna be a producer. Like, when people be like, "Kill, what made you get a producer?" Pete or Preem or Marley? I'm like, all those people probably planted seeds, and you know, maybe Marley planted the seeds and Preem and Pete watered it, but this was the harvest. When I heard these beats, I was like, I gotta be a producer. And it was like, and then the next year I got my ASR 10. But yeah, this album, and like you said, Rel, maybe not the most lyrical miracle MCs, but Juju got so many quotables. Bury that ass where God can't even find you. Like, it's a lot of dope quotables.
One of my favorites, he starts off Beatnuts Forever with even if you wearing a vest, I'll find you with a crowbar dug in your chest. I said, God damn. Yeah.
Beatnuts Forever. Watch out now. Oh man, when I see fat asses out those fat passes like quarterbacks, your shit borderway. Yo, man, don't get me started.
They were dope, man. They were dope.
Don't get me started on nuts. All right, I'm gonna end this out. Let me get rid of everybody. Here's some R&B shit. Groove Theory. You know, I've heard people tell me that was just Tell Me. They was one hit wonder. You know what I mean? I'm like, I like the joint Keep Trying. I thought their debut album was dope. You know, I really thought it was, you know, a dope album, but I don't think a lot of people heard from it. Same thing. Ralph Tresvant, Sensitivity, you know, and Do What I Gotta Do. But I'm one of those people who I fuck with the album. You know what I mean? Last night.
Stone Cold Jipper was good too.
It was some joints on there. Here's a crazy part. A lot of people may disagree. Jim Jones. People think all he had was balling. I actually, El Capo, his album with Arsonist from the Heatmakers is a 5 mic classic for me. Just for me, personal favorite. Don't expect nobody else to like it. Even this joint that he just dropped. What was this shit, Vague, that you told me about?
That was a good album.
At the Church Steps. It's hot.
Yeah, At the Church Steps. Bro, I fuck with this album, man. Like, so to me, it ain't just balling. Here's something, and y'all probably will disagree because this is one of the albums I was talking to Ev about, and I realized I only probably heard it because they sent it to me at 889. Cellar Dwellers. You know what I mean? Realms and Realities. You know, I know the average person only heard The Perfect Combination, Love the Video. It's the classic Low video. So much low in that video. But they had Advanced the Boardwalk. You know, just a they had a couple of joints on the album that I can't name right now, which ain't good for me saying they're not one hit wonders. But that one of these people right here, I'm going with my man right here, Chill Rob G, man. People think all he had was the power. Man, you talking about Quarters in Session, Future Shock, I mean, Ride the Rhythm. There was some bangers on here, and he had the power before the CNC Music Factory or whoever jacked him. Before the power had it, he had the power. Yeah, Snap. Before Snap jacked him, Chill Rob G was the man. And here's somebody that I'm very shocked, and I'm if I wouldn't have heard this from more than one person, I wouldn't even mention her name. I've heard Alicia Keys was a one-hit wonder, which is crazy to me. Vague, I was dumbfounded. People like, all she had was Falling. I'm like, God damn, did y'all not have a radio? I mean, You Don't Know My Name was everywhere. The woman's work was everywhere.
They don't know music. I can't even talk to people like that. Hey, can I tell you Hey, can I tell you like two one-hit wonders real quick? Yeah. You remember that group In Too Deep, Back to the Hotel?
Back to
yeah.
You know what? The joke was gangster though. Nonchalant at 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning.
This group called the Bums, this joint called Elevation.
I remember the Bums.
Elevation.
You remember Divine Styler?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what about Paperboy?
I remember Paperboy.
What was the song?
I remember Paperboy.
Paperboy.
I remember Paperboy.
I got 3 I'd like to shout out real quick.
Who you got, Doug?
These weren't necessarily hits, but they mean something to me, and I wanted to hear more from these artists. Original Concept, Can You Feel It?
Yeah.
That Original Concept album was so slept
I
on.
remember that.
Oh my God. And Dr. Dre being an actual DJ, just not an MTV host, putting in work. I want to shout out the K9 Posse. This beat is Military.
Oh man.
I was waiting for more. Not just the connection as Eddie Murphy's younger brother, but I thought this beat is Military was just quality bars.
Bro, look right there. K9 Posse, Eddie's
That's
brother.
Penmanship. They wrote some rhymes. And then finally, I want to say the KMC crew, The Devil Went Up to Michigan.
I don't remember that. The KMC crew?
They took The Devil Went Down to Georgia and turned it into a DJ battle with The Devil. The Devil came up to Michigan. That is such a slept-on song.
I don't remember that song.
I never heard anything else from the KMC crew, but go back and look. The Devil Came Up to Michigan, KMC crew, KRU. People that think that were one-hit wonders, but I know that they're bigger. I want to say shout outs to Cool C, Glamorous Life in the Ghetto, Get the Point. A lot of people say Craig Mack, but real heads know Craig Mack was not a one-hit wonder. Get Down, every bit as funky. And just the
And that Q-Tip remix? Oh my God.
just the remix of Flavor in Your Ear alone is enough for a second hit. Finally, I want to shout him out because he is from Oak Hill, West Virginia, 15 minutes from where I grew up. DJ Cheese, who with word of mouth put out King Cut, one of my favorite classics. He also put out Coast to Coast, which was a more minor hit, but a hit nonetheless. So shout out to DJ Cheese for King Cut.
All right, no doubt. Veg, you got anybody left?
I got one, but y'all tell me, because I feel like he's not a one-hit wonder, but most people only know the one song, Black Rob, Whoa. I feel like people don't understand that song is on a classic album.
That album,
You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna, I can't say that because the album.
that album is really good, yo. That album is really, really good.
And the one after that is good. The Black Rob Report, Don't Sleep. That joint got bangers on it.
Yeah, it was.
The Black Rob Report.
But
Well, you got
we know that. That's my point.
Right.
We know that. But most people, unfortunately, even some heads didn't even listen to that first album, and that first album's crazy.
Yeah.
I got
one I forgot about real quick. Cash Money and Marvelous out of Philly. All the ugly people be quiet.
DJ Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince knockoff, right?
Find the ugly woman and make her your wife. They had something about ugly people. I don't know what it was, but bro, I want to know to this day. I want to do some digging. We're gonna have to go to Philly, get some cheesesteaks, find some people out West Philly. I really want to know who came first, Jeff and Will, or Cash and Marvelous. Because for all we know, these two could have been first, and Jeff and Will just got the deal first.
Good point.
You know what I mean? So I've always wondered who really, because it's not always about like who we saw first, because that, like I said, that just meant you got the deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But and then shout for Will Smith to getting the street named after him back home in Philly, out West Philly. That's dope as hell. So salute to him. Yeah, but I definitely had these two as a one-hit wonder because there's really nothing else on this album whatsoever. Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah, I got a couple left over. I got Double X. I don't know, y'all remember Double X Posse? I'm not gonna be able to do it. That was a fire song. We ain't hear nothing after that. A+,
Bro, right there. Double X Posse.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that song was ringing, and then we ain't getting nothing after that. A+, who
Hempstead High.
But his first album, The Latchkey Child, it got Prodigy on it, AZ. It's a really good album, but
it really is.
Yeah, I listened to it. Tony listened to it, but I know a lot of people didn't even give that shit a chance.
I love that album.
That album good.
And the beats are dope on that album too.
Yeah, yep. And this might hurt Smooth the Hustler.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, as much as we love Broken Language, we were disappointed after it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that song again is a classic, but after it we didn't get much. And then my one is not me dispelling, it's a question. I wanted to ask everybody, what are we doing with as leaders of a new school? What are we doing? Do we consider Case of PCA and Sob Story as 2 hits, or are they a one-hit wonder?
Damn.
I don't think they're a one-hit wonder because I mean I love that album. I mean, Sound of the Zeekers, Great Space Coaster. To me, they would fall under one album wonder, like almost going back to the Al B. Short thing, because I fuck with the first album. Now that second album, that was just horrible. Like I don't know what was going on production wise or even rhyme wise. Like maybe they was already falling apart at the seams or whatever. But that album, I swore I had it over here, but yeah, I love that album to death, man. Like that's.
And Sob Story was a good song. It was a single, and it got some traction.
Yeah.
And I do believe Charlie Brown and Deco D are putting out some stuff right now under Good People.
What?
I think Charlie Brown and Deco D are actually got a couple singles that have recently come out in the past couple of years under a new name.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm thinking. Even with this joint, Feminine Fat, that was my shit. So yeah, if you got Case of PCA, Too Much on My Mind, Sound of the Zika, Sob Story, Feminine Fat, I personally would give them one album wonder versus one hit wonder.
Yeah, it was a good album. And what about KMD Peach Fuzz? Remember that joint?
That's a great pull too. That's a great pull. That could definitely be a one hit wonder. Yeah, that could definitely be. 'Cause I mean,
Bad Ones featuring Dinko D and Charlie Brown.
Wow.
Good People. Yeah, they just dropped that a little while ago.
It's called Bad One.
that's right.
Yeah, by the Good People.
That's right. That's right up there with that whole Draz and Jarobi thing. Like, bro, it's been too long, bro. Sob Story came out when I was in 11th grade. I turned 51 next week. Like, nah, bro. Like, it's cool, man. The game don't need you. Dope episode, y'all. Prayerfully we dispelled some myths, you know, gave some people some love. Because here's the great part. Even if you was a one-hit wonder, guess what? You still got joints that get played. Because half these joints we name, if you play them, you still get the reaction. So if you throw on Danger, yeah, you know what I mean? If you throw on Danger, hey, there's a lot of people, there's the Boogie Monsters. I can't name you one song. You know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to them. But, you know, having one song is better than not having...
Don't do my boys like that.
The Boogie Monsters.
I'm just saying, I can't. It was like an underwater album. I don't know. That was like during the time with
Honey Dips and Gotham and that demo.
Yeah, and that a recognized threshold of negative stress, but also
shit like that. C-Tone, I didn't like songs like that. Recognizing love,
one of my favorite Boogie Monster songs is a song called Bronx Bombers on the album, the debut album, Riders of the Storm, and they got the Bronx Bombers shirt on.
They was from the Bronx?
They had a song called Bronx Bombers. They're from New York.
Oh, for some reason, I thought they was from VA for some reason.
No. Boogie Monsters from New York.
You know, another one hit wonder, Trends of Culture, Off and On. I love that joke.
Trends of Culture.
Absolutely.
Off and On was mine.
And you did when you texted me, man. You said King Just too, right? No flow.
Oh, King Just. King Just.
Oh wow.
That hey ya ho.
Yeah.
That's around that time when anybody from Staten Island had an open. You know how like what Griselda did with Buffalo, like. They opened the door and then just everybody out of Buffalo was just throwing something. That's what was happening with Staten around that time. Because King Just was from Staten. That's all you had to do was say you was from Staten Island and we was interested. Like
that No Flow was dope. And wasn't that a Redman diss too? He threw a shot at Redman on No Flow Rodeo, I believe.
Oh, I can't call. The only thing I knew was that Warriors drum. I never heard nothing else from the boy but that.
Oh, you got that song. That song's crazy.
Album. And trust me, I was the only one that bought that album, and there's nothing else on it.
Yeah.
Word.
Yo,
what about the book?
I was going to say, well, go ahead.
No, what about the boy Shaheem?
Shaheem, the Rugged Child.
On and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I knew was On and On. Like that would be kind of one hit wonder, right?
I love that album, The Lost Generation, that came out in '96, though, man.
Yeah, shallow style, but yeah.
Okay.
Shallow
I
Style
never heard the second album.
The Lost Generation?
Yeah, I never heard that, John.
I think you'll like it, man.
Okay. All right. Oh, one more person I had on the R&B tip. My man Johnny Kemp just got paid. That was definitely
Rest
one
in
hit
peace,
wonder.
Johnny Kemp.
Yeah.
Oh, Johnny died?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died a while ago.
Oh man, that's crazy, man.
That was
That's
a dope
crazy.
video, too. He was groovy.
Yeah, just got paid. I don't know what his hair was doing, but it was a dope ass video. And
Yeah,
Adina
man.
Howard's Freak Like Me. Freak Like Me, I think that's all Adina had. Maybe that's all she needed. But you know,
all she
since she's
needed.
still performing to this day. So you get that, you get in and you
And
get
what
out.
about Shannon? Let the music play.
Ooh, man, you going back, man.
One hit wonder for sure.
Oh man, Joyce
Yeah,
Sims, man. There was a lot of music. It's funny because when I pulled out the this joint, you got the Sleeping Bag on the back. And Sleeping Bag Records did a lot of that dance music. They did a lot of that No Sarah Summertime and Joyce Sims. You know what I mean? So Sleeping Bag put out a lot of like dance records like
Yeah, you gotta do an R&B version of this show, man.
I think that
Yeah.
R&B one hit wonder might be a whole nother episode,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm starting to go into 90s songs that had, you know, it was an R&B song, but it did have hip hop elements, like maybe Culture Beat Mr. Vain, or things like that.
I don't even know what that joint was.
I don't know that song.
Culture Beat Mr. Vain? Oh,
Nah,
wait,
like what's the name of the group? Is the name of the group called Culture Beat?
Culture Beat Mr. Vain.
Oh, and then the name of the song is Mr. Vain.
Yeah, there was that period in the 90s where it was
I
R&B
that
songs,
one.
but you had to drop a verse in the middle of it.
Right.
And you know, there was a lot of R&B songs that were one-hit wonders that could probably be a whole nother episode.
Yeah. We gotta get Jay on.
Shannon, God, my mind is racing now.
Yeah, bring JR on that episode.
Yeah, we gotta get Jay on that joint. All right, no doubt, bro. Doug, where can they get at you? You on social media? Where can they get at you at?
Look at me on Twitter at Find the Funny One.
Okay.
I basically keep a low profile off Facebook and stuff like that. Instagram, I got a profile, but I don't do much with it. I mostly follow people. I don't look to be followed.
All right, no doubt. Vay, where can they get at you, bro?
All right, you can follow me everywhere on social media at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my weekly podcast right here on YouTube, Hip Hop Now Podcast, news and perspectives, and some other stuff, including interviews. But I ain't interviewing all you motherfuckers, so back up. All right, I'm just playing, but I'm serious. Also, I got some joints out there. Me and Kill got about 7 records we did, albums, if you will, together. Most current being Bed-Stuy Vintage BTS, which is like a quick EP based off the album that we dropped last year. Bed-Stuy Vintage is kind of boom bap. It's a commemoration of 30 years of rhyming for myself. And it's probably the last thing I'll do, and I mean it, because I'm good. I think I'm good now. If you need a verse, that's cool, but no more album. So check that out on Bandcamp, VegasWorldInc.bandcamp.com, or if you, for whatever reason, you want to go over there, it's on all streaming, music streaming platforms.
All right, Tone, where can they get at you, bro?
Yeah, everywhere. Tony the Dome, of course, and YouTube the Dome podcast. And I'm here and there and everywhere, brother. Just look me up on Twitter, X or whatever.
All right. Rel, what's good, bro?
Uptown Rel 215 on Instagram, JBen215 on Twitter. I also have an album out with Kills called It's Not You, It's Me. And it's a lot of soul beats. I got Vegas is featured on the album as well. And it's just an album about relationships, man. Friendships, beef, love, hate, family. You know, it's one of those type of albums. It's you know, I feel like if you're a functioning human being, there's something on there for you. So, you know what I mean? Just give it a listen. Jarrell, JARELL 215.bandcamp.com, and it's on all streaming platforms as well.
All right, no doubt. You already know this with me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. The bookworm in me, shout out my man Ben Merlis, who has been on the show before. Book is called Going Off, the story of the Juice Crew and Cold Chillin' Records. This is a very, very, very dope book to pick up. You can get it from Amazon. Trust me, if you know me, I hate reading or doing anything and not learning anything new. There's no way in hell you're going to read this book and not learn a rack of new stuff. Not only about the Juice Crew, but about Cold Chillin' Records in general. Because after the Juice Crew, you still had Granddaddy IU, God bless the dead. You still had Diamond Shell. You still had Kid Capri. And it kind of goes into all of that and how the Juice Crew fell apart and everything like that. So definitely a very dope book to pick up. And I will check y'all next week, good peoples.
Happy birthday, Kel.